Who are you?
Well, I don't want to give my name because I have a feeling like I'm going to be saying things that are going to be pissing off a lot of people. Uh, I mean, doing anything worthwhile is bound to make you a few enemies. But who I am doesn't really matter. I've always been the kind of person who thinks that ideas should be considered on their own merit, not based on the source. I've been doing a lot of thinking on the state of this nation, and I think that I'm in good company when I say that I really hate the way that things are now. I'm not going to be one of those people who's so ignorant of history that they think that we've never been more divided than we are today. Certainly, we've been more divided than we are today. But the internet is a strange beast when it comes to polarization. And we have made so much progress in alienating our political opponents to the point where I am feeling disconnected from my best friends and my family members because we just can't reach any semblance of common ground on the issues of the day.
And how do we do that?
Well, I think that we have to put in some effort into rediscovering the things that really unite us. And I think that that's going to be harder than it sounds. I think that maybe the only place that we can really start is by just having a conversation with each other over what we're even trying to do. And I'm talking on like a deep level because what are we trying to do is a philosophical question. And answering philosophical questions can be really hard. I mean, I'd make the metaphor. Trying to answer philosophical questions is like trying to walk in space. The mechanisms that you have for answering more mundane terrestrial questions don't work in the reference pointless space that is philosophy. If you ask a question, then I can just constantly ask why. Well, why? And there's no end to that. And so there's no point to push against. There's no way to get traction on any of those kinds of questions. And ultimately, I think the only way that we can not be bogged down by the more difficult parts of philosophy is to just kind of accept one statement as being true right off the bat. Just make a postulation, or another word for it is an axiom. Just take something to be true and then derive everything else based on that true statement. Like in formal logic, the statement that we take to be true is that contradictions are impossible. And we base all of our logical processes on trying to discover if a line of reasoning contains a contradiction. And if it does, then we know that it's not sound or not valid, really. Valid. So in philosophy, we kind of need something like that. We just need something to push off of, something like to be the end of all of the why questions, something that we can all just universally accept as being true so that we can actually start doing stuff.
So, what can we take as being true?
So, what can the axiom be? Well, it needs to, first of all, it needs to be useful enough that we can actually derive things from it. Like, we can't just say, like, puppies are cute, because then that might be true, like, inarguably true. But, like, so what? You can't answer important questions based on the truth of the notion that puppies are cute. So it needs to have this enormous potential for things to be derived from it. And to be it needs to be something that when people hear it, they already know in their hearts that it is true. Like that they can't help but accept it as true. It should also be what I'm going to call universal, which is to say that it's not going to. The axiom should be true today,
and also be true 500 years from now and 500 years ago. It should be true in America, and true in China, and true on Mars if we ever get there. It should be something that remains true in all contexts and isn't just fashionable.
And if we can do that, if we can come up with, I'm going to call it a statement of value, where it's better to have X than to not have X, or it's better to have Y than to not have Y. If we can just do that, and if we can get to a point where we all agree on that much at least, then we can come up with different strategies of how to get more X or get more Y, and compare them and vote on which strategy we want to take. And even when somebody selects a different strategy, we can still see they're doing it because they also are trying to get more X. They just think that this is going to work better. So, what? I mean, I'm not a traditionalist, but I am an American, and I'm going to steal something from our founding fathers here. Our nation is personified in a lot of ways. It has an avatar, Uncle Sam. It has a birthday, the 4th of July, and it has first words. The first words in this country are called the Declaration of Independence. And in the introduction of the Declaration of Independence, there is perhaps the greatest sentence ever written. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I think that we should accept this statement to be true, self-evidently, that we should make this our axiom. That liberty, the ability for people to control their own experience, and happiness, which is the inverse of suffering, which is a person's awareness of loss. These two things have value. And I think that if we can do that, if we can just all agree that liberty has value and happiness has value, and sometimes we might prioritize one over the other, but we'll never prioritize something else over both. I think that if we can do that, then we can really say that we all want the same thing. So I propose that we who believe this unite. I'm calling what we're doing the Lionheart Project. Our goal is to expose people to the liberty and happiness philosophy. My pseudonym will be Luke Henry, and my associate here will call herself
Linda Hill.
In order to do this, we need to publish content, right? We have to record things that people want to listen to. We have to write things that people want to read. We need to inspire people to share what they hear with other people. We have to communicate our vision of the future to our neighbors and our country. And so to do this, we can't be boring. We can't just be, intellectuals dryly. If you actually read the Federalist Papers, it would put you to sleep, I guarantee it. You simply can't have pure intellectual discussion and expect it to go beyond the intellectual community. You need to have a message that can reach the people, and hopefully one that they will spread within their own ranks. So I, Luke Henry, and you, Linda Hill, will be creating content talking about how to apply this philosophy in real life, hopefully while being at least somewhat entertaining along the way. And if we do that, maybe we'll be a part of an actual conversation with people in this country, and we can build from this base a society that we all want to live in, one that fosters liberty and happiness.
And try as we may to mask it with names such as your religion or your class or your race. The same color blood just passed through our veins, and tears taste the same when they splash on your face. The world's getting too small to stand in one place. It's like we're roommates just sharing a space. Can't separate and still carry the weight. Gotta heal, get away from the fear and the hate. Gotta shake free from them chains. You see what remains, just a human being, end of the day. Don't matter to me.